Watch what you bet here on That Betting Show. How about this? Best of 3 it's down to for the Eastern Conference Finals. The Raptors and the Bucks now sitting at -7, Teddy. A little bit earlier today, we had some 6.5s popping up on the board. Now we're seeing the shift back to 7. Over-unders, we just went over. 215s primarily across the board. 214.5s are starting to show up here. Raptors 46-50 against the number on the season. 11-8 against the number as a dog. The Bucks 57-35 against the number on the season. 48-31 as a favorite. Looking forward to it tonight. Do they bounce back? Look, we see the same thing. Home court advantage. 2-0, 2-2, back to Milwaukee, best of 3. Let's see what happens tonight.
Yeah, and we will see what happens tonight. We will see what happens in the next 2 or 3 games in this series. And just looking at the SBR odds screen right now, there are actually some 7.5s just starting to pop up. So if you like the Bucks, I'd get involved sooner rather than later. You've already missed the 6.5s. You don't want to be laying 7.5 by tip-off if you like Milwaukee. And again, it's just the first few books, but on the other hand, when the markets start to move, we know what the markets can do. I'm going to give you some quotes because, look, this is a series. We've all watched it. We've seen the first 4 games. It's not a series where we're going to talk about this matchup or that matchup. Series where, the 2 blowouts were Milwaukee having a great offensive game in Game 2 and Toronto having a great offensive game in Game 4. The other 2 games, one easily could have gone to overtime, and then the Bucks scored the last 10 points to get a cheap cover in Game 1, and the other one went to double overtime in Game 3. So let's talk a couple of quotes. Nick Nurse, Raptors head coach. Each game is its own entity. Let's see. If we can go do it in Milwaukee, we'll need to take this challenge of playing in a hostile environment. We're going into a tough, loud place to play. Let's see if these guys can bring that same pop, focus, and determination on the road. Remember how well the Raptors bench played in Game 4. Not always easy to do that on the highway, especially coming off a brilliant effort. Budenholzer, quote, I think Tuesday's probably the first night defensively where I don't feel like we were close to where you need to be to give ourselves a chance. So credit to Toronto. They obviously played well and had a lot of guys step up and play well. Their bench was very good. Haven't seen that out of the Bucks. Mirotic, quote, we had a great start the first couple of minutes. We started aggressive, but then I think we allowed a lot of points, rotation, defensive transition as well. We didn't show the crowd as we usually do. They beat us on the boards. A lot of offensive rebounds. So it was just not the best game. But listen, nobody said it was going to be easy. We're 2-2. You go back to Milwaukee and do the same thing they did with us. They punched us here. We're going to do the same there. Giannis, we just came out in the third quarter flat. It's something we can get better at. It's something we can fix. It's something we've been doing all season. Usually in the third quarter, we come out and we're aggressive. We're making shots. We're moving the ball. Hopefully when we get back home, we can shoot better in the third quarter and throughout the whole game. The Bucks have no 3-game losing streaks this season. And sometimes when your team crashes and burns, all of a sudden something that hasn't happened all year happens in the postseason. I'm not convinced that's the case for this one. Milwaukee 19-5 ATS off a defeat. They were 19-4 prior to Game 4.
Teddy, put you on the spot a little bit here. Do we think this is going 7?
No. I think it's going 6.
Ooh. There we go. All right, we'll see what happens here. But again, Association back in action tonight. We'll have some fun looking at it. And if it does go 6 or 7, we'll obviously be here on That Betting Show to cover it. How about this one, Teddy? You're out on the West Coast. You're in Vegas. Rain, not really too much. Watching a Padres game in the rain was really interesting for me. But even more interesting, Teddy, is raining during the day. Nice, bright and sunny, ready for first pitch. Wait a second. We got a rain out in L.A. on Thursday afternoon. Thank you to the drainage at Angel Stadium of Anaheim. And that's another bone I have to pick with them, Teddy. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Angel Stadium of Anaheim in Anaheim. Can't we just call it Angel Stadium and the Los Angeles Angels? Back to the game here. Twins and Angels -140 today with a total of 9. It's going to be Perez and Harvey. And Perez, how about the rebirth of his career? How about the Twins bombing away? Does it continue today? Obviously, after yesterday, you get the day off. We'll see if that streak can continue tonight. But it should be an interesting one if we don't get rain.
So it's a Memorial Day weekend in Vegas, and it was 50 degrees and raining yesterday. I mean, literally, I've been out here 21 years. I've never seen anything like it in terms of, like, you're freezing in May. You have the heat on in May, in late May. Weird weather here on the West Coast. But by the time last night's game was scheduled for the first pitch, the sun was shining. Of course, when you don't have any drainage in the outfield, it's a problem. First home rainout since 1995 for the Angels. So it's not like it's a problem they have all the time. Quote, there's still too much standing water in the outfield. It's just a matter of playing conditions. Ultimately, it's player safety first and is playing the game at a major league level. Now, Rocco Baldelli and the Twins were not happy about this. They were supposed to get out of town after yesterday's game. Baldelli, quote, "I can't say I concurred, but it's not always the easiest call in situations like this. We probably played a few games this year and similar to what we would have been playing in. I think we probably could have played, but it's not my decision to make." All that being said, we're seeing steady money for the Angels. The wise guys have looked at the LA Angels and said, this is a team we want to be betting on. 9 of the last 11 games, Angels have closed having taken wise guy money. I don't know if that changes after the Anderson Simmons injury. That is an impact injury from a defensive standpoint. He's as good as anybody, any shortstop in the major leagues, and he's been a decent bat as well. Simmons out for LA, and Perez has been dynamite for the Twins. Twins continue to be the single most profitable team in MLB to support on a game-in, game-out basis, and the markets just haven't caught up with where they are.
One more game to watch in on MLB Extra Innings is going to be the Rays and the Indians. The Rays blast the Dodgers, head out of town and head to Cleveland. I got to tell you, Teddy, watching the Cleveland Indians sometimes is a painful experience. The lineup looks decent on the card. They just cannot get timely hitting. And we'll see if the season's going to slip away there because the Minnesota Twins playing some really good baseball. And we did the write-ups before the season. It looked like it was going to be the Cleveland Indians division just to hold on and ride through the summer. That's not going to be the case so far. They're underdogs at home here, plus 120 today with a total of 9.5. Yarborough's going to go against Plutko. Let's see if those Indians bats wake up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth of it. They just got swept at home. First time they've been swept at home in nearly 2 years, since June 2017. They scored only 9 runs in the last 3 games. Manager Terry Francona, quote, "If I had the magic potion, believe me, I'd give it to everybody. The best thing I know is not to drag our heads, not to feel sorry for ourselves because nobody cares, especially the teams we're playing. They're probably thrilled." We're talking about an Indians lineup. You'd right. They're hitting 224 for this season. And you say, well, Francisco Lindor is hot and Kipnis is on an on-base string and Carlos Santana went yard again yesterday and he's going. Doesn't matter. As a team, those few bats aren't getting the job done. All that being said, make an argument that Adam Plutko is an undervalued commodity. The markets don't like his advanced metrics. They didn't like him at all last year. What did he do last time out? 6 innings, 1 hit allowed, got a win over Baltimore. He was solid in 2018. It was not spectacular. And again, the numbers aren't going to blow you away and the advanced metrics aren't going to blow you away. But the Indians won fairly consistently for Plutko last year, and maybe they bounce back strong off a really lousy series against the A's. I think there is value on the Cleveland side today. It's the only way I could look, even against a Tampa team that's playing pretty good ball.